Welcome once again to Tissueworld TV, brought to you from Tissueworld 2019 in Milan, Italy, where we're unpacking some of the latest trends across the world of tissue and paper in this amazing event that by now you should be very familiar with. My name is Michael Jackson. It's a pleasure to be your host once again on Tissueworld TV, bringing you the very best of the guests as they've been presenting to us and the actual conference program as well. And joining us now in our studio is one of the presenters from right up first day of day one this morning, John Pugliano from the States. You've traveled in to talk to us, sir, about digitization in the industry as well. A fascinating opening presentation discussion that we had on stage. What were the key takeaways, John, and welcome, that you were expecting the audience to remember as a result of being here?
Thank you. Yeah, I think the key takeaway of this is that the timetable is very uncertain for digitization and automation. How quickly it's going to be adopted is in question, but what is not in question is that it is inevitable. It's going to take place, and those companies and individuals and industries that rapidly adapt the technology, that take the risks, use the creativity, those will be the ones that will succeed by addressing the me economy, customization of products, and those that don't adapt, they will find themselves commoditized.
One of the slides that you went through in your opening remarks was a fascinating thing for me, the decline of GE on a timetable across the board and the ultimate rise of Google. I mean, it was a big X factor in that particular regard. I mean, you know, there's no surprise to us though that the major companies in the world now tend to be technology non-producing companies, while industry from a tissue point of view is largely rooted in the past, isn't it?
Yes, and the encouraging thing I think for that in terms of the tissue industry is they can use the automation and the digitization to take cost out of the product, to improve efficiencies, to have better use of resources so they're more sustainable, and to create these new customized products. Ultimately though, what they want to do is they want to deliver an analog, physical experience to the consumer.
And as you say, there is positivity coming out of the industry as well, because, you know, whilst we're looking at the Googles and the Facebooks and all these leading industries on the global 500, if you will, you gave an example of US shale oil, which is an industry that's rooted in tradition and history that everyone thought 10 years ago was going to go into massive decline, but today has turned its own fortunes around as a legacy industry.
Yes, it's fascinating. You wouldn't think of old oil, old stodgy oil as being an example of digitization, but it really is. In the last 10 years, the United States has doubled the production of oil. Years ago, oil had peaked in the 1970s. That's all changed now. US is now not only the largest oil producer, they're exporting, they're the lowest cost producer of natural gas. What we're seeing there, and I think the lesson for the tissue industry is that just because you are an old industrial industry doesn't mean it's over for you. You can use these new technologies to revitalize your products, connect and attach to the consumer, and ultimately that's where they're going to make their profits, selling these higher price point, more customized products.
I mean, you're an expert in looking at industries that are changing and investing in them as a result with your customers across America as well. Are you leaving Tissueworld fairly bullish about this industry?
I'm encouraged. I'm encouraged to hear Magnus's talk about the innovations that are coming forth and how they're taking a very proactive approach to making sure that they don't get commoditized and also attracting new talent into the industry. I'm very encouraged with what I've seen.
And Magnus, as the CEO of Essity, was fairly upmarket, and you know, even though he had slides on, would you invest in the tissue industry right now because of the lack of change that he's seen across the board?
He was very blunt about it up till now being a non-investable industry and addressed many of the issues and concerns that I had, and yet he brought it together as a CEO, showing that he's aware of the challenges and how the industry is going to go address them.
So it's made you think twice.
I was very positive.
I love it. Thank you so much for being with us, sir. Real honor to have you with us on Tissueworld TV. Thank you.